Today in our entitled parents, M almost kills a kid for not handing over his spots. First of all, this happened to a friend of mine who gave permission to post this. I was there for the first part. Cast friend told from his point of view, so will be using me, and I am entitled mother of ungrateful bastard, child police officer. Alright, this happened about a year ago. My friend, had a party with a couple of my friends, including Op. It was a fun party. We played lots of games such as Groggle if you don't know it. At a local church, we had permission to use for this. We gave it a kind of Stranger Things setup with the dim light hallways with strobe lights. We also had someone in the sound box playing creepy sounds and music, and sometimes announcing clues. Apparently an M of the church was in the church and didn't like the game we were playing. She went up to his parents and said hello politely enough, so I didn't know this would be an app store. She asked what game we were playing, and we said Grow. She didn't know what that was, so we said Google it. She did, and then said, "Did you get permission from the church to play here?" "Oh boy. Here we said yes, and she said, "I don't think this game is not appropriate for a church setting. First, none of your business, lady, and second, don't make accusations based on only your bias." We said that. Yes, we have permission. And what about grog makes it inappropriate? It has absolutely nothing to do with Jesus. And monsters are against Christianity, so you need to stop playing now or I'll call the police. Like seriously, not only is that absolutely stupid, but the police won't be appreciative of getting an emergency call about how a group of teenagers are playing games that don't involve Jesus at church. We knew this, so I just said, not all games have to involve Jesus Christ in them. We ignored her until we went back to his house. It turns out him had followed us to his place and knocked on the door. His dad opened it, and there was her "Hello, can I help you?" He said. She ignored him and allowed herself inside. So now she walks over to where and a friend are having their round in a video game tournament. She sees this and exclaims loudly, "You can't play that. You can't even play non-screen related games without undermining the laws of God." What God? And why does this deem you unworthy to play the Xbox? Turns around and says, "I'm sorry." What? It's not my fault if you don't like the games we play. You don't have to worry about that. And before you say that was rude, this lady ignored a question and allowed herself to enter a house without permission and yelled at the inhabitants for playing video games. Gasps and yells how you don't get to play games if they are not appropriate for church. They should be taken and given to a responsible child like Minnie. Is whining and crying that he wants the Xbox. There is more talking and yelling how her kid needs the Xbox and how he's such a grateful little boy, while he screams that he needs the Xbox because their Xbox 360 isn't good enough. Eventually, M unplugs the console and tries to take it. If grabs on as well as is. M is still yelling until we manage to pry the console from her grip. His mom yells at M and up to leave their house, or they will call the police. M was so mad she grabbed her metal water bottle from her purse and started trying to slam it into his head at top speed. Repeatedly. She's still screaming, is bleeding from being constantly beaten in the forehead with thick metal, and finally his mom and dad call 911 reporting child abuse, assault, and trespassing. M is still so mad she takes her purse with everything in it, including the water bottle, and, trying to whack the already bleeding, she lands a particularly heavy blow on his arm, and next thing we know, is on the ground and her armor is misshapen like it had been broken. We re-holding back M, who is still trying to whack his Head of is trying to punch us in the genitals, though he was like 7 and didn't know how to punch or how to deal with much older beings trying to hold back their parent, trying to break every bone in their friend's body. Eventually Po comes with other officers and asks what's going on. Wails that people tried to assault her child, was trying to hit us. We say our story and show who we are saying needs medical transport. Po calls an ambulance and asks if we have anything concrete. Says her child saw it all, and he nodded. His mother, still livid from the attack, tells Po that they had video surveillance. Calls her bluff. She was wrong. After witnessing the footage, the police asks Mom and Dad if they wanted to press charges. They said absolutely. Last I checked, I have no idea if she went to court, though I don't know if she was stupid enough to pay for someone to defend her in that case. So maybe didn't almost kill, but she severely injured him and tried to kill him, which, by the way, attempt murder was one of the charges. Side note. People have been questioning why the parents did nothing. They didn't. I just thought it wasn't that important because they did the same stuff we did. Edit. I am very aware what the law of God is and other Christian-related stuff is. I am a Christian myself. This next one is entitled. Entitled parent think their child deserves everything in the airport. Sorry for the bad formatting. I'm mobile and English is first language. I'm just bad at spelling. This happened after years ago, so some of the details may be fuzzy. Let me set the scene. It's Auckland Airport. I'm waiting for my flight to Brisbane in a coffee shop when a mother and her crotch goblin sits next to me. Enter the cast. Me summon Ike. Entitled weirdo. Entitled weirdos weed. I'm sitting down enjoying a nice iced coffee playing some random video game when 9 or 10 comes behind me and politely asks me what I'm doing. I explain to him what I'm playing. Asks if he could play and I say sure. I was in a training map so I wouldn't lose any L. He played for 10 minutes or so when his mom was ordering. Then comes back and loses Ike. What are you doing to my child? Me. He was just playing a game, He's just letting me have the game. What said shocked me. I merely told him that he could play, not have the game. How he could have the game. It was on Steam. I did say you could have it. I just said you could try it. It's on my computer anyway, so you would have to take that to have it. Well, I guess you will just have to give us the computer then. We continued arguing about whether she could have my computer. Then one of the servers came over. What's the problem here? Before I could say anything, fired back. This doesn't concern you, and for your condescending tone I demand a refund for my food. She had already had about $50 worth of overpriced air food. The server went over and called the manager over. When the manager came over and flat out only told him, "Where the hell is my refund?" The manager in the end just told her to get out, and like the pathetic wolf she was, she huffed and she puffed and continued to do that till she left. But before she left she flipped me the bird, then spilt my iced coffee. The cave offered to replace it, but I declined. In the end I still had my laptop and got onto my flight with almost no problems. That's until I saw and in the line for my flight. Luckily, she was a whole 15 or so rows away from me, but still gave me condescending looks every time she walked past me. I replied to her with a smile. So it turned out still annoying though. Edit. I was playing Brawl. This next one is entitled. M tries to get me to move to a different seat on an empty bus and then demands me to hand over my pins to her child. This post isn't mine, it's my friend's. So am on my bus in the back near the window. All is well and not paying attention because buses in my area are crazy and have some shit you don't want to see. I have my earphones and not paying attention to people. And one last bit of info, there is a lot of seats available on the bus. This Karen comes up with her 2 kids to me and starts berating me about me giving her my seat, and I just said no because I don't want to move and my legs is killing me, so I don't complain. And she comes with this bullshit that I should respect my elders and my generation is full of pieces of shit and like what is your problem? One of her kids was looking at my pins and sees my Bride of Frankenstein pin. It's a 2-inch big pin, portraying the bride in a pine-up style in a Margarito web behind her. It is one of my favorite pins I own. This kid sees it and says he wants it, and it is so cool, and I just say, I can't give you this one, this is special to me. Plus it was pretty expensive to get, but your mom can get it on Amazon. His mom just tells me to give it to him for all this inconvenience that I'm giving them for a seat. And I just laugh at her face and say, how about no, leave me alone. I go sit somewhere else, but as I said, my leg hurts, and I can't put too much pressure on it right now. She is red at the face and just walks up to the driver, and she tells him about some story about how I was harassing them and not willing to give a seat to a single mother, blah, blah, blah. And I shit you not, the driver just says, really? Really, that's what you're going with? I've been seeing and hearing all this stuff go down. She wasn't really quiet. He then politely says, can you please get off? At next stop we take care of our passengers and we don't stand for harassment to other passengers. She got off in a huff and looks back at me, and I just give her a sly smile. It could have been easier if she just asked if I could and not just abandoned it, and if I said no to respect that. And again, the bus was empty, so I asked what her plan was. I hate entitled parents. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.